All right, good morning, everybody. It's August 5th, 8 a.m. my time. Bitcoin price is currently right near $38,000. We made our way from yesterday all the way towards our first target profit, which I'd mentioned in yesterday morning's video for a potential long position at 39,250 and the higher target, which is around the weekly open, which is 39,810. We basically pinged both of them and then aggressively sold off overnight, right? Point is, if you took this long position yesterday, kudos, right? If you're short right now, also kudos, because so far the market looks like it basically retraced the entire move from yesterday on the way down. Remember, I had shown y'all something really interesting that was happening in the market, and it was by this one player on FTX. How do I know it's the FTX guy? Because if you look at the open interest across the board, really no one was moving the market up like this guy had here. Okay. Here's what was happening, and here's what this person was doing. Okay. All right. So when BTC bottomed right here, around 29-30K, right? Prices start to grind up and then start to push up from here. As you can see, this is where the open interest start to kick in, right? So it peaked right here. And then once again, open interest took a little bit of a dip. And then this person started to wane off their long positions and started to basically, open up distribution and selling their long positions this point down. Okay, so they closed out their long position starting here on the way down. Okay, then what happened? As prices to do this, right, on the way up, they start to build a short position. Okay, and now as prices are coming down, it looks like this person is unloading more longs or closing out their shorts. How do I know that? Because if you see a drop in price like this, more than likely, okay, if the open interest is closing out like this, it either has to be that the person is closing out their short positions and covering, right? Or that they had previous longs back here too that they need to unload on the market, and they're doing that right now. So why is that important at present moment? Well, I'll tell you guys, and this is really interesting because it rarely, if ever, happens. Number one, we spoke about BTC dominance yesterday evening. Remember, we had this nice trend line going. We broke it. Now we're about to come into key support of this Bitcoin dominance. Number two, if you look at the entire pack from basically last night, right? Like, let's do this, okay? Let's look at this from, all the way last night going into today, this morning. What do you see? See, this is BTC right here. See that marker right there? That's BTC, the one that's buzzing like that. BTC right now sits at the bottom of the pack while still having, on the day, we are negative 4% on the day. Why does that matter? Because guess what? A majority of the alts are not down that much, especially good quality alts, right? So again, keep in mind, BTC is down 4.5% on the day. Ethereum right now is down 3.9% on the day. Rune is down negative 1.87% on the day. Alpha is actually up 10% on the day. Aave is up 5%. Band is up 3%. Okay. So the reason we keep this correlation in mind is because what is happening in the market, in the BTC market, is, in my opinion, very isolated to this player on FTX. He or she is dragging and offloading their positions on the market with this down move right here, or maybe even causing the down move, but they're not pressuring the rest of the market, because I think the rest of the market, they want to hang on to their positions, or they don't have a position in the market, in the altcoin world, so they're not able to drag down the rest of the market. And this is why you see the correlation not impacting the rest of the market. So what we can glean out of this is, when you once again start to look at the top of the pack, focus on the good quality alts that are moving up today, And this is where you might be able to get some alpha. All right. No pun intended, because alpha is up here too. But alpha in a sense that you might be able to take some long positions while BTC basically retraced the entire move today, right? If it retraced the entire move today, and as long as BTC does not break these key lows right here, if it bottoms out right here once again in this area as it bases out, there might be more long positions to take, whether it's in Solana, whether it's in Alpha. FTT is another good one that I've been paying attention to because it's been flagging on the daily. Matic is another one which I feel like it stayed above this previous resistance level, might have a shot at $1.25, $1.26 right here. Link is another one. It's gone up quite a bit. Maybe it has some more legs towards this first of all $25 target immediately, and then up here around 27 to 28. Luna is another one right here where it's gone up a decent amount, but maybe, who knows, maybe it has one more leg in it, to take out these previous highs or this previous lower high, which is around $17 or so. Okay. So all these things you got to keep in mind that, as long as the market, especially on a day like today, if the market is not selling off aggressively, and I mean DeFi and altcoins, there might be some longs to be taken. Okay. Now, yesterday evening, I took the Rune trade. Okay, I took a Rune long at around 785. It's doing okay, obviously, because of the market came down, but nonetheless, like we're not really that far off if you think about it, Let's do this, right? I'm only down maybe like, I don't know, 0.5% or 1% from where I entered. Okay, so that's really not too bad, but I'm still hoping and thinking that Rune has another leg up in it. At least maybe it double tops. Who knows? Maybe it does something like this and then starts to roll over. In which case, I'm okay with getting out somewhere closer to this previous high, or maybe it gets towards the higher target levels around like 865, 870. And the reason I say that is if we go to our indicator, I pointed this out to Advantage members yesterday. Here's this aqua line that you see that held us as previous support back here, multiple candle closes, ping support right there, faces at it as resistance, sells off, right? So once again, maybe we come into that area, which is around $8.70 right there, as you can see. Maybe we come into that area as resistance, right? That is something that I'm definitely paying attention to. Okay, 870 as the pocket that we might get a nice trade up into. Okay. Aside from that, ETH, again, EIP 1559 coming up today. Obviously a big deal. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be like as soon as the event happens, like it's a sell the news kind of event. I don't really think that's going to be the case. ETH, you could make the argument that, there's a 2550 level that we were watching for a while. Let me pull up this chart right here. Okay, let's get rid of this. See this right here, 2550 level. We were watching that for a little while. Price did this over, under, and then now starting to climb back up, right? Again, on yesterday's video, we were actually down here when I started my video, and I told y'all that more often than not, when you see these over and under structures and price starts to once again come back inside this key SR level, it means that price is going to go higher, which it basically did. Now, in my opinion, it might just be pulling back, retracing, and who knows, might be starting our next leg up. So if it's starting our next leg up, well, as per the indicator, that kind of takes us to the high of this cloud, which is around like $3,000 flat, right? If you want to follow basic SRs too, you can look at these previous highs where price got rejected here, here, and here 3 times. And that marker is around 2,900. So 2,900 and then 3,000, which is the top of the cloud, as potential long targets. Okay, so I'm okay with taking a rune position. I might even take on a ETH position, maybe today or later today. So these are the things that I'm watching. I mean, a simple way to look at ETH is just long here, stop here, first target profit right around this level, second target profit, top of the cloud, which is around $3,000. That's it. As simple as that. Okay. Let's check out the futures markets. Not a whole lot going on. Probably looks like a very nice pennant being built at the high. I think, once again, I've told y'all multiple times that this COVID stuff, especially the Delta variant, is going to be part of our mainstream conversation. And the market will force you to accept it in some way or another. And so I believe that over the past several weeks, I wrote about this Delta variant becoming a common conversation at the beginning of July, or maybe it was middle of June or something. The reason I said that is because this is still building and lingering in the background while everyone else is completely, avoiding it or just not focusing on it. Now, health concerns and issues like this, especially in economies of scale, you cannot ignore. They will ultimately impact markets and they will ultimately impact your portfolio in some way. This time around, we can be better prepared that, let's just say there is, say, a big, crash due to the Delta variant, right? Maybe you can be a buyer of the dip or, the buyer of the big sell-off that we might have, right? On a weekly basis, let's just say, the market really digests the Delta variant badly. Well, where are the levels for something like Ethereum? Well, if we're going to get, say, a pretty decent size sell-off, but maybe not as bad as March back here, then at the very least from this high, I would figure we're coming off. At the very least, we're going to come back to 1950. At the very most, we're definitely going to sweep 1750 and maybe head lower towards, like, I don't know, $1,000, $1,400, and maybe as low as, I don't know, like $800 or $900, right? Again, I'm just preparing y'all for some targets just in case the market decides to really just shit the bed and digest this Delta variant news and really crap the bed. Okay, it's good to be prepared, right? On the BTC front, I would probably figure that we at least go back towards these lows. Maybe we sweep these lows and maybe we head back towards our previous target that we were watching around 26 to 25K. And who knows, if prices head down further, maybe we get down into the 22K down to about 18K area. Okay. Again, just discussing this just for the purposes of being prepared, not trying to spread FUD or trying to be a bear or anything. In fact, like, I think right now in the market, I'm not really seeing that many short positions to take, other than the fact that if you believe that Ethereum top is sealed because EIP 1559 is here, then you just go short ETH, right? Short ETH right now, that there's your stop. Okay. Your first immediate local target is at least 2250. Your deeper targets are somewhere around 2000 down to about 1950. All right. That's the simplest way to go about shorting ETH, right now. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm not particularly interested in shorting ETH or shorting some of these alts yet, but I will be at some point, right? I will be at some point because, as always, almost everyone will get uber bullish into resistance, and the wheels will come off slowly. And who knows, if the Delta variant really starts to hit the market, most people will be unprepared, and that's what you ideally want to take advantage of. Okay. So indicator wise, we talked about this. Oh yeah. Let me go to this area right here. So if y'all remember, Harry had mentioned that this was actually the ideal short position. market came back, pulled back up, and now selling off again. The other thing I missed out to tell you all yesterday is, this is another key SR level that we were watching in the beginning of June, right? This was a deviation that sent us back. Now, once again, you're seeing a similar kind of deviation, unable to kind of, price is unable to keep above this level. So this $39,000 level that you see, this marker, it seems, quite heavy. It means that there's probably decent sellers sitting at this level or above this level, selling into this asset. Okay. So it kind of begs the question that, well, do we just put in, say, another deviation like this one, like we did back here, and then we sell off further? And if so, well, where do we sell off to? Well, if we're just paying attention to the indicator, if we're kind of doing this, right? If these ribbons come up like this, okay, where does that take us into? It takes us into about the $35,000 pocket, okay? 35 up to about 35.7. So in case the market breaks down, it'll come into that area. And guess what? As for RSR levels too, I told y'all, remember, price went grinding sideways, broke down, trapped a bunch of shorts, and then took off, right? So this is definitely a short squeeze. But markets, especially in crypto, rarely, if ever, start a new bull run off a short squeeze, right? Short squeezes are temporary, that they're designed to be temporary. They're designed to make people, panic out of their positions. And I believe that goal was accomplished. Now, if you really want to start the next leg of a bull market, I believe that this level, to some degree, around 35K, maybe as deep as 34K, maybe as shallow as 36K, needs to be retested. And it'll do something like this. We'll have a nice grinding movement up. And by the time September and October rolls around, we'll do something like this, maybe by the tail end of the year. Ideally, okay? Break below this area and you reject it, then we're effed, right? Like, you're probably going to see a further sell-off if you nuke through this area, especially if this nuke, breaking 35K comes on the back of, this Delta variant stuff, then yeah, it's going to get rough, right? Then we're definitely headed towards these lows and maybe lower. But for now, we stay optimistic. Either 38K holds, right, which is, again, another KSR level, or we go back to 35 and hopefully 35 holds, in which case you can go long there, hope for a new cycle, by the Q4 time of the end of the year. All right. Any other questions? So we cover the indicator outlook on Ethereum, Rune, BTC. We covered levels to watch out for BTC and ETH, some other altcoins to watch. Covered, was it the FTX, person who's been moving the market. What else do we have? Told you all about the Delta variant. I told you all to watch this Bloomberg interview with Vitalik and Joe Lubin, talking about the changes happening in ETH and why it could be positive. So all good things. Yeah, it should be a great day, folks. I'm excited. Okay. All right, we got no more questions. Y'all take care and cheers.